Welcome everybody. I'm a challenger coach with over 3 years of experience, having helped hundreds of people reach their goals. I have just reached challenger with a 60% win rate, and today I will share the 8 most important concepts that I have used to climb. The first concept is going to be about understanding which wave to play on. The game is dictated around waves, and even neutral objectives are set up by having proper wave states. So if you're going to be contesting a neutral objective, you need to know on which wave that you're going to be doing that. Because if you push in a wave, you can force the enemies to make a decision between either responding to the wave or playing for the neutral objective. So in this example, the next neutral objective is spawning in 44 seconds. I have just reset. I do have TP up. What would a lot of people do? They would go top lane right here, clear the wave, and then potentially move down towards mid. But that's not really possible because you gotta recognize which wave we're gonna be playing on. We want to be playing on the final mid lane wave before the next neutral objective, so we can push that in, force the enemies to respond, and then play on the objective. So if I go top lane right now, I will not be in time before the next wave spawning and then colliding onto mid. So initially, in my old habits, you see that I initially wanted to move top lane right here. I click on towards top, but I recognize, hey, next dragon spawning in 40 seconds. I need to get prior onto the next mid lane wave. This top lane wave does not matter when it comes to this next dragon. So I move towards mid and I get prior together with my team right here. And I'm just here as a little bit of a failsafe. My Vayne's doing well, so I give her the farm. And guess what? The enemies are also contesting this mid lane wave because they also know that this wave is very, very important towards getting access to the neutral objective. And guess what? I land a beautiful triple stun right there with this Indra, which then allows us to clean up the fight. It's an ARAM 5v5 on mid on minute 23 because everyone understands that this mid lane wave is key to creating the next neutral objective in your advantage. The next concept I've been applying is aggressive baiting and anticipation. This is tethering the enemy at their ranges and incentivizing them to throw their ability out, which is going to grant you space in the lane. So for this, you have to put yourself into the enemy's perspective and you have to try to think, okay, what are they going to do? And of course, in this case, I'm playing versus Syndra. I expect her to Q, in this case, onto the last hit. That allows me to then freely walk up whenever she has no Q available. In this case as well, I knew she was going to Q me. I walk over it and now I reach myself level 2 onto the wave. I get a beautiful trade and the lane is absolutely over for her. Also, I really want to highlight this level 1 one. It's very important. Look at where I'm walking. A lot of people would be very scared. They would be hitting the wave right here. But I'm actually challenging her right here in her ranges. And I'm dancing in between her Q range, in and out of it. And I'm going to try to incentivize her to use it. So I can then abuse the fact that she has no cooldown to either bumper off the wave or get pressure or get a good trade going. The next concept is creating trading windows. What are trading windows? They are situations in which that the enemy is forced to make a decision between two bad choices. Usually, that's when the enemies are trying to last hits, because when an enemy has the last hits, they can only auto-attack the minion or auto-attack you, and if they auto-attack you, they're going to lose the minion. So in that case, trading auto-attacks is fine for you if they lose a minion, because then they lose gold. That's where trading in lane is really based upon. Trying to find these timers where the enemies are forced to last it when you've already lost it your minion. So this short sequence, I want to show you a small little sequence in which that I manipulate the wave state to create these trading windows for myself. So what I do, I kill the minion right here. And with me having killed the minion, I now have a really easy time walking up towards Swain because my minion's already dead, that I needed to last hit, and he now needs to last hit this one. So I actively kill that minion. And now look what happens. I can pressure him off that one. And of course, in this case, the minion went very deep, so I couldn't really punish him on it. But I'm now going to do the exact same thing. I'm looking at the minions. What minion are they targeting? So I'm now taking a look. It's taking a look like this one's going to take quite a while for it to die. So I'm nuking this minion, so I don't have to CS myself when this minion drops low. And therefore, I create myself a trading window right here. So this minion's now dead, and his minions still need to be lasted. So what can I do in this case? I can walk up. I'm not punishing him just yet, but I do force him to actually Q the minion. So I pressure him just with my movement. I'm now actually going for a trading window onto the next minion right here. We see that this minion is now getting targeted by the creeps. And I now easily CS that minion. With me not having a minion to last it right now, because this minion is not getting focused, and him needing to walk up for this one without him having Q, I now hit him without him being able to hit me back, which puts me in an amazing position in the lane. And this on rinse and repeat. The next concept has all to do with getting the reps in. And this is how to avoid autofill as much as possible and get your main role as much as possible. Especially if you play mid like I do, your role is heavily contested. So the way that you want to go about this, you want to go to League of Graphs, type in main champion stats, click on it, and then you got yourself a nice little filter on the top right, in which that you can go towards your Edo range. For me, I'm Master EU West. You type that in and then you see the popularity of the roles. You're going to tick your main role, of course, is primary, and then you're going to take your secondary role, which is the second most popular role. So for me, it's mid plus AD carry. And then you're going to find yourself a strategy for your secondary role. Personally, I was going to be playing Mage's bot, which means that even if I sometimes got secondary rolled, which didn't happen that often because I picked the right role, I was still able to play and perform in today's games really, really well. So the next concept I'll be discussing is going to be hitting a little bit closer towards home because of the fact that this is probably the most important change that I've made over the past year. And I think it actually came from a place of insecurity because of the fact that I was pretty insecure about my rank at the beginning of last year. And matter of fact, it wasn't that high. And I've always been hovering around GM. But right there, I was stuck in Master, High Master at that point. It was High Master at that point. And the reality is that I thought I'm a coach, right? I've been a lot higher before. I'm now stuck in Master. I'm a coach. I'm coaching people full time. Like, I should be able to solve this myself. And I was too scared and insecure to actually ask for help. And that led to me just not seeing the blind spot and the weak spots in my gameplay. So eventually, I got absolutely sick and tired of it. And eventually, AJ, I want to give a really big shout out to AJ, who is another MLA coach. He actually was super kind enough and gave me also the reassurance that it's okay to get help, even in my position as being a coach full time. You know, that's okay to help. It's, of course, you also make mistakes and you always miss stuff that other people do see. And since that point, me and AJ have actually been working a lot together. He's been reviewing a lot of my votes. I've been reviewing a lot of his votes. And he's actually helped me a lot, like a shit ton, with seeing and fixing up and tidying up the blind spots in my gameplay. And that's led to me now actually over time getting such a massive amount of improvement that I feel like that the amount of improvement that I've actually made comparatively towards all the time before was purely because of these missing links slowly being added up into each other. And that's only also with a lot of help from AJ. So quick little shout out towards him. And yeah, I think that the place where I would have been right now, being so confident in my gameplay and reaching Challenger here wouldn't have really been that streamlined and that easy without the help that I actually got from him. And one thing that I really want to, the message from this situation as well is, guys, be okay asking for help, right? It's really hard. This game is so unbelievably hard. The complexity cannot be understated. And getting help from, if it's your friend or a coach like me, I'm happy to help you. Is so important to streamline your journey. Make sure that you don't get lost in the sauce, lost in the weeds, and that you actually put yourself on the right track towards improving, because this game is bloody hard, guys. We got to get very, very serious about it. The next concept is going to be quite controversial, but I am very adamant about it, and I truly believe that this is the best way to climb. And that is full muting every single game. Why? League is a game that is you versus you. And by full muting every game, you will not get influenced by your team's chatter nor communication in pings. And I think the second one is very, very important. I see a lot of coaching clients, right, really struggle with composition. And this is something that I struggled with myself as well. And for me, the best solution is to full mute everyone. So I make my own decisions and I get punished or rewarded based upon these decisions. And that's the best possible place that you want to be in. You want to be the commander. You want to be making the calls if it goes bad or right, because you'll learn from them. If you made the right call, you'll improve and you'll learn from the situation. If you made the wrong call, damn straight you're going to get flamed. Damn straight you're going to be in a position where it's up to you that you lose the game. but it's really good because you're going to learn so much and it's going to be an absolutely invaluable lesson. So this is a game that I want to highlight it with. In this case, I do not have my team muted, and look what happens is, right, the enemy team just actually got themselves Baron. We're in a massive position with a heavily outscaling team comp, and the enemies just got Baron, and there's a dragon coming up in 30 seconds. So I make the active decision. Currently, we cannot fight the dragon. It's a controversial one, right? There's arguments that you can, there's arguments that you don't. But I make the call, drop the dragon, cross map right here. And I'm very happy that I did, because the enemy's only window in back into the game right now is if they get mid push on Baron. We get into a bad spot, we lose the fight, and that's the only way for them to win the game, because we skill a lot harder than them. We have a better team composition. So unless my entire team is preparing for the dragon, right, I am actually doing a different thing. I'm cross-mapping and I'm communicating really, really well to them. A lot of people would just do their own thing, but no, you cannot just do your own thing. You have to communicate incredibly well. We call that the commander mindset for a reason. So eventually the enemies take the dragon for free, but we cross-map onto the Orianna right here. We get a beautiful play together with the Fi, and eventually Orianna just dies, which then allows us to eventually reset, get a nice man advantage fight, and then when the enemy's Baron is gone, we now have massive tempo, get very deep pushes, and in the end, because of our good tempo on the next mid lane waves right here, we win the game when the enemies don't have Baron, because the five's now suddenly a lot more in our favor. Also, me having my Void Staff spike right now, instead of just the Blighting Jewel. So, the most important thing to keep in mind is full mute and take control of the situations by communicating yourself. The next concept is going to be all about champion pool. It wouldn't be a mysterious video without hammering down on champion pool, but the reality is, for a lot of players, this is the reason why they are stuck, and they don't want to admit it, or they get bored of champions, which means that, very simply, you won't climb. You will be hard stuck. This is a trap for a lot of people. The reality is, you're either learning the game or you're learning a champion whenever you play the game, right? You have to either occupy mental stack towards learning the champion, and if you fully master the champion, you have the champion mastery. That's when we can actually look at game decisions and game improvement. So if you don't have that baseline champion mastery, good luck trying to get better at the game, because you need to learn the champion first. So this is the baseline framework that you want to be referring to if you want to be climbing throughout your divisions. I would even say, right, personally, because this is the guideline that we have in the MLA, even in Diamond Plus, I rarely recommend 4. 4 is very, very, very hard. And a lot of people think they can pick up Yasuo, Kiana, Akali, all in the same pool. Forget it. You will not climb with these champs. They lack reference points. They're super, super, super hard. So stick to your core amount of champions that are not too complex. It's okay to have one complex champion in it and one medium complex champ, but make sure that you keep it civilized and that you actually allow yourself to have mental stack towards improving upon the game, instead of it only being occupied by the champion. The final concept I really wanted to highlight, and this is one that's been a massive game changer for me and how well that I'm actually focused and playing in the game, is making sure that your life and everything that you're doing is healthy and in order. And these are all examples of ways that you can go about increasing your intensity in game. Big game changers for me have been the 3 losses rule, which is quitting after you lose 3 times on a day. No shorts, very, very important one. I used to be a little bit of a short abuser, short form content. I know how addicting and crazy it is that you just sit into the shorts, or you got your mobile phone around you and you just start scrolling after the game. Or you're done with your block, and instead of doing work or going to eat, you start scrolling all the time, and you just get locked into that hook. And I've been there, I've done that, but the biggest thing for me is just quitting this completely. I know how hard it is, but it sucks out so much energy and time, especially, that you don't even recognize it. So you also feel stressed for the other things that you have to do. And these have been absolute game changers for me, guys. In the end, it's a game. And your life and your game usually go hand in hand. So make sure that your life and game balance are up to par. Make sure that you're healthy, and then your in-game mental is also going to be healthy.